Good afternoon. This is Troy from the Do-It-Yourself World and the Off-Grid Project. It's now buggy. It's 4 o'clock in the afternoon and I'm just turning on the camera for the first time today. This morning I had 3 videos to process. I worked late last night, and I've been studying a lot on construction materials and pricing and everything, so I've been putting a lot of extra time and effort into getting this house prepared properly, studying, learning, reading comments, answering messages, getting feedback on what I'm doing. So I started out late in the first place today, but then I took a ride this afternoon with a neighbor who showed me some really amazing things that were right nearby. He took me to see an older man who runs his own lumber mill, and he's got quite an operation going on there. He can't beat Lowe's or Home Depot for price, but he's got the rough cut, the ends, and the any failures, any messed up pieces of wood. He bundles up in these massive bundles like this big around, and longer than my truck, probably 12-15 feet long. One load will fill my truck, and it's only $20 a bundle, and it's all oak. So I'm thinking about next couple weeks here going over and getting a bundle. That'll make awesome shelving, tabletops for like end tables, coffee tables. You'll see it when I get it, but it's not for here and now, it's for later. Probably at the end of the month on the next paycheck. But he showed me all that, and I chatted with the guy. He's also got sawdust. He's got truckloads and truckloads of sawdust for free, which is going in my garden. I am going to go next Monday, actually. Monday I'm going over all the bark, the wood bark and chippings that come off. He wants gone urgently. So I'm going to take my truck over and get a truckload of wood chippings, which I'll run through my mulcher and put straight on the garden bed. All the sawdust he's got is probably enough to fully, completely cover my whole garden in between the plants and also the walkways, which is finally going to help out on that. None of that has anything to do with the tiny home, except for some of the rough cut lumber. His prices again are a little bit higher, but I want to have a couple rough cut beams going across from the loft from one wall to the other, and they're going to be exposed, and I like that, so I'm going to be getting a couple of them from him, because I really like the idea of a couple of rough cut beams spanning across the home. And then on the way through, coming back home, he took me through a bunch of back roads, and I'm not even sure where it was, but there's this quarry, and they sell gravel and stone, which I'm going to eventually need to do the whole road coming out to my place. Then it will be a road instead of a path through the metal. Because right now, the last couple of years I lived here, when it snowed in winter, that was it. I walked the quarter mile up to my vehicle, which was up a quarter mile from the main road. By the way, I drove my car the other day and checked the miles indicator, and I think I've been exaggerating slightly when I say I'm a half mile. Or wait, did I say a mile? No, I'm 8/10 of a mile. I'm 8/10 of a mile from the road. So when I said I'm a mile from the road, I'm a little off. I'm 8/10 of a mile from the main road. So it's quite a drive. But so I think I'm a quarter mile from the house, and she's about roughly a half mile from the main road. That's how it is. I'm a quarter mile from the house. So there I'm pretty much right on with my measurements. But anyway, yeah, I don't want to be doing that in the winter again, getting snowed in, leaving the vehicle up there, walking back and forth. That's no good. Especially grocery getting, forget it. And cold and sloppy. So that's nice, that's a nice find. I am going to sand this now. It's not supposed to rain, it's 4 in the afternoon, so I'm going to uncover this I've been waiting for a day like this with no rain predicted because I have to uncover the whole floor to do the sanding. So that means I'm going to pull off everything and completely expose all the flooring. Everything that's been stored under here has to go somewhere else, so I'm probably going to be putting it in my carport. But the problem is, and you got problems with critters trying to get in things, and I don't know. But that's why this has been like this. But now it's time to uncover this and start working on sanding the floor. Well, that was about a 30-minute job. All this stuff is always stacked up on top of the house to keep it away from the elements, because everything wants to move into your house in the forest. Bugs, mice, chipmunks, squirrels, everything wants to move in. Now, I've got a situation here, which I've mentioned before, but tongue and groove is not flush with one another. The boards are not at all flush. There's different raised lips all over the place. Of course, here I notice there's no screws. There was probably no lip underneath that to screw into. I think I can probably toenail in. But regardless, even over here, I see different heights of wood, different lips. Right here where I've got them butted up together, there's a different height. And over here I notice a really bad section where there's a different height. Here I noticed a raised spot. So I don't know how they do it. I think it has to be planed normally, but I'm going to get out the sander. I'm going to give this a good sweep, and then I'll get out the sander and see what I can do with a hand sander. I've got, forgive the mess here, I just covered this table as well. I've got a, what do they call this, a finishing sander and some standard paper. Unfortunately, it's a 1/3 sheet sander, so we'll see how well this goes. I fear it's going to be a long project to do this. But what I want to do isn't so much smoothing it as to get any scuff marks. Like, I don't know if that shows on camera, there's a curved scuff mark here and a couple tracks from different things, pencil marks and X's and lines. I gotta get all that off there. And that's the goal right now, so that I can shellac this and then use it as my house floor. At least till I have time or materials to do it right. Working out very well. I did not expect this to be so nice or easy. I'm using 120 grit. I've got 180. I might consider going back over it again with 180. Now, I don't know if you can see the color difference between this piece and that piece. I can see the difference. You can see from back here to where I'm standing. See the lighter color? I think it shows. That's from sun fading and from just stuff scruffing around on it the whole time. And I'm incredibly surprised. I thought this would take days to sand this deck, but it's not going to be that big a deal. Not at all. This is really nice. So this is a relief. I'm going to get this sanded, and I'll probably have time to go over it with 180 if I feel the need to do so before using shellac. Now, because it's probably getting late in the day, I'm not sure what time it is. I probably won't shellac today. I'll probably do that tomorrow. So I'll sand this and then I'll sweep it and then tarp it, but only, there will be nothing on here but the tarp tonight. And then tomorrow I can shellac it. And then Monday I'll get my boards and start framing next week. So this is going well. I'm not going to bore you with sanding all day, but this is looking good. I think you can see a clear line here and here where I've done. See how this is darker and that's whiter. See how there's a line right there. This is lighter and that's darker. I've done 2 panels and it's going relatively well. So I'm quite happy with the result of this, and I think that wood looks nice, really. I think that's a very nice wood pattern for a floor. I like it. Very good. Removing pencil marks, stains, dye. Just for comparison right here, I left some of the dye in place for you to see. This will be into the 2x4 anyway later. It took off this whole edge of dye. Very nice. It's taken off the worst of all the stains and scuffs and everything. And you can see the color difference between the two right here in the sun. Really making a difference. So I'm going to change out my paper. But this is good quality sandpaper too, I'm surprised. This is, what is this? It says Lowe's all over the back, isn't it? Yeah, 3M Sandblaster Pro. I'm really impressed with that paper because although it's slowing down, it's not worn out at all. I'm going to replace it just because I want to do the job faster. But I notice it's slower here than it was over there. This is cleaner and whiter than it was at the shop. Look at how nice that looks. Sorry, my tripod's in my way. You can tell right there I didn't finish that spot yet. You can see it's darker. And from there back I have to do. So it's going to be interesting to see how this turns out. The shellac is an amber color. I got an amber color to cover up any deep stains in the wood that I couldn't get out. And I was advised that might help blend it in basically. So I'm going to let you watch a little bit for a minute. Oh, what is that? That annoying table is there. I'm going to leave that right in the center. Well, it's all sanded. Right now it's 7 o'clock at night and I just finished. So it was a couple hours of work. The back section was the worst, the hardest amount of work because that I had been moving back and forth and sliding around so long, whereas the front section was pretty clean and easy because they were put down first. But this was worse, and that was the worst. So that was a lot of work. I've still got an hour and a half of light. The mosquitoes are coming out in force, but I think I'm going to do the fine grit sanding now before dark, and then that'll be it. Well, there it is, ready for tomorrow morning, ready to be shellacked. I think it's not bad looking for a house floor. I like the pattern. I think it looks really nice. I do like the pattern. Look at how this came up clean. I didn't worry about the edge. That's going to be under the 2x4 framing. Look at how this cleaned up. I think it looks amazing. Unfortunately, you can see a bit of streak where I had to sand hard on the chalk line. The chalk lines were a nightmare to get up. That was bad. That one especially, the first chalk line I did, you can see I had to sand hard there. But look at that. For a house floor, I think it's acceptable. I think it doesn't look bad at all. Once I get that shellac on there, I get an amber colored shellac like I said before. I think it's going to look really nice. And that'll help preserve this wood while I'm working on the walls of the house. But I like it.